If you could erase one discovery or invention for the benefit of humanity, what would it be and why? Leaded petrol has to be up there somewhere. Fun fact, Thomas Midgley, one of the guys who invented tetraethyl lead, also invented and promoted Freon and other CFCs, the stuff that wrecked the ozone layer. Between his two contributions to commercial chemistry, he is probably the most environmentally destructive individual organism ever to have lived. It could be argued that if you had a time machine and a single bullet, you might do more for humanity by going back and killing Midgley instead of Hitler. It's a shame, because he certainly didn't intend for either of his inventions to do so much damage. Luckily, in a way, he died before we found out what a disaster Talon CFCs turned out to be. Not so luckily, but perhaps predictably, he was killed by yet another of his own inventions. Partially paralyzed by polio, he devised a complicated arrangement of ropes and pulleys to give him more mobility. He ended up getting tangled in the contraption and was strangled to death by the ropes. Edit, since half a dozen people have suggested Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything and something called Vsauce as the potential source for this fun fact, I'm just going to mention here that I first learned this bit of trivia on Chi. I have also read A Short History, but my first exposure to the inventive tragedy that is Thomas Midgley's career was courtesy of Stephen Fry. If you find facts like this fun, I strongly encourage you to watch Chi, most of it is on YouTube. I also encourage you to read Bill Bryson's book. They knew leaded gas was dangerous and many DuPont chemical employees died producing tetraethyl lead. In 1923, Midgley took a prolonged vacation to cure himself of lead poisoning. After about a year's work in organic lead, he wrote in January 1923, "I find that my lungs have been affected and that it is necessary to drop all work and get a large supply of fresh air." On October 30, 1924, Midgley participated in a press conference to demonstrate the apparent safety of telephone. In this demonstration, he poured tel over his hands, then placed a bottle of the chemical under his nose and inhaled its vapor for 60 seconds, declaring that he could do this every day without succumbing to any problems whatsoever. 5-8, however, the state of New Jersey ordered the Bayway plant to be closed a few days later, and Jersey Standard was forbidden to manufacture tel there again without state permission. Midgley sought treatment for lead poisoning in Europe a few months after his demonstration at the press conference. Quite frankly, it's amazing his inventions didn't kill him sooner. Thomas Midgley Jr. He had more of an effect on the environment around us than any other single creature that has ever lived. Poor guy couldn't catch a break with his inventions turning out rotten. He developed a disability in his later years and built a rope and pulley machine to help him get out of bed. His own machine strangled him. Frown. Doorknobs. Not sure what prompted anyone to decide the door handle was not good enough and design something you cannot operate with slick hands, or with hands full of things like groceries or sleeping children. The concept of a 40-hour workweek, with shifts that start before like 10 a.m., hasn't it been shown that we're not suited for it, and productivity increases by starting a bit later in the day? But mostly because it's Monday, I'm effing tired, and I wanted to go back to bed. Edit, please take my post with a grain of salt here people, I know not everyone feels this way. Smile, of course I don't expect my opinion on this to be shared by everyone. This is simply how I feel. I know we're all different and it works out perfectly for some of you, and I'm genuinely happy that it works for you. And then suddenly it's all like, hey man, children have rights too, and then it was a whole thing. The straight truth is that they can fit places I can't, and they have stamina and hope. I have none of these. Also small hands. Nimble, you know. Edit, this is the best post-day drunk surprise. All these lovely responses in favor of child labor. I mean, why do we have children anyway, if not for the indentured servitude? It really just makes more sense. With the research being done about adult sleep cycles, effects of sleep deprivation, how stress affects overall health, and reduced productivity towards the end of the week, you'd think more would be done to really look closely at the habits we've created for ourselves. Although I do realize that it would be a massive overhaul of our entire society, so I know it isn't really something that could change overnight. 24-hour news networks. There's not enough news to report 24/7, so they rely on fear/hate mongering instead to keep people hooked. There's no need to keep breaking news in big red capital letters 12 hours a day. This morning, I was certain for a second that there's a terrorist attack in Australia bigger than 9/11, then I learn it's a man or two holding a cafe hostage. The good old days when all the important things used to be covered in 30 minutes evening news, without trying to keep audience on the edge all the time. Edit, it's in everyone else's interest that you stay scared and panicked. Scared people watch even more news. Advantage news channels are easy to manipulate via counter-terrorism bill bulls. Advantage government easily give in to anything that is hype, Advantage marketers, need more distraction, Advantage TV. Only party losing here is you. It's in all their interest to scare you for your life over next to nothing. Cigarettes. I've known, or at least heard of, too many people that develop lung cancer from that S. There are less harmful and less smelly ways of chilling out. Edit, took out cigars, sorry cigar smokers. Honestly, the only way I've seen it work is cold turkey. You have to live to quit. Make your every thought about smoking turn into a spiral of events that make your life horrid. Do something else that requires your full brain power and devote the time to that. Always be thinking of how amazing that extra $100 $1,000 a month you'll save by quitting. Seeing a therapist once or twice about quitting can help too. Good luck. Cold turkey is the best way. My addictions get the best of me if I try and wean myself off. I always tell myself I'll make this pack last the whole week and it ends up being gone in 2 days. The way it works for me is if I have my addictions around I will use them no matter what, so I just avoid them altogether. Anyway, been off cigarettes for almost 2 years now and I feel great. Smoker since I was 12, I quit when I was last year at 31. It was vaping that did it for me. I tried the e-cigarette. The prepackaged, small ones you can get from the corner convenience store, and it did nothing. It wasn't till I went out, dropped some cash on a good device and good juice that it started helping. Started at 12 milligrams of nicotine, month later was down to 6, then 0. For a while, vaped 0 nicotine, and now I don't vape or smoke at all. The fact that you keep trying methods suggests to me you're looking for a trick to get out of smoking. No method will work for you, ever. You just stop smoking and suffer for a while. That's it. You just have to be willing to suffer and stop doing mental gymnastics to bypass that. There is no excuse, including I get so angry when I need a cigarette, I'll be a bee when Nick fitting I need one to go to sleep, it's just so hard and I need support. Buy a pack of cigarettes then go to work, don't smoke any on your way to work. Right before you go and destroy the pack. Don't throw it away, destroy it. Then go in and face it feeling a bit antsy and a bit agitated with some cold sweats. Beats the S out of dying miserably. Did you see the list they put out a few years ago? It was basically who's important enough to warrant a breaking news section if they die suddenly. I think it was a leak of an internal BBC memo or something. Googling got the Daily Mail, the Mirror, the Standard, and this old blog post below. I don't really want to give the 3 newspapers the page views because they're SE. It seems Daily Mail got the story, so take it with a truckload of salt too. 4 people are still listed in Category 1, the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Charles, and Prince William. In the event of their deaths, programs on BBC 1, BBC 2 and the BBC News Channel will be interrupted for an official announcement. However, Category 2 has been abolished, downgrading the coverage given to other senior royals and public figures, reports the Mail on Sunday. Princess Anne, the Countess of Wessex, and Princes Harry, Andrew, and Edward, who were formerly on the Category 2 list, are now listed as other notables alongside the likes of Prime Minister Gordon Brown, Tory leader David Cameron, and US President Barack Obama. The deaths of public figures in this category, which also includes Muhammad Ali, Bob Dylan, and Nelson Mandela, will be covered as major breaking news stories with coverage on merit. Details of the changes to procedure were sent to all senior BBC News staff, reports the paper.